some associates gather on the stand. This trial's a circus, but I've got a plan. Not a grifter, still worse than Dan. Hopscotch squares, don't trip, don't fall. BK in a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8-ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? Me be the diva, she's running the show. Two Capone and Meg, yeah, everybody knows. Fat, we're fat, well, nobody knows. What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle. Hopscotch squares, don't trip, don't fall. BK in a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8-ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle.
I was sleeping.
Yes, I was. How are you guys doing? Happy Monday. Flashing, I almost said Friday because I was reading your comment there. Not yet. Not yet. Getting closer, though. We're through Monday. What's up, Bad Dazzer? How you doing? Oh, goodness. Sorry that I missed last Thursday. I really was sleeping. On Friday, my husband said, are you ever going to wake up? And I was like, I don't know. Do I have to? I guess. What's up? Chris Silvermoon Cutler, how you doing? Ah, goodness. So my roofers are here. They are still working. I warned you guys. I don't think you'll be able to hear them banging around. They're being kind of quiet right at the moment. But when they come down, if I'm not muted, you will hear the dogs because they have just been all day. It's like, please stop barking. We've got days of this ahead of us. I was on the Michael Jackson stuff. That's what I was on. I was like, okay, don't do me like they did Michael Jackson. I do want to wake up. Yes, Fantasmer. It has been a very loud day, but I think they have, I don't know what they have. I actually haven't been outside to look because I've really just tried to stay out of the way and keep my dogs somewhat thinking, the world's not ending. I promise. Hera was down here with me, and then she left. So, Rue is convinced the world is ending. But other than that, all is well. Excuse me. Well, what's up, Deidre? How are you? Miss Amy, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. That sucks. That is a trial I could send 80-something episodes, though. Nope. That's a no for me. So, I was sleeping. The scope went fine. I was sleeping, so I didn't care. Although it was funny because the anesthesiologist came in the room and he was talking to me, and he was a very happy guy. He was super happy, super energetic, and I'm like, you need to calm down. And he left the room, and my husband looked at me, and I was like, I know. He goes, you saw it too? And I said, I saw it too. He reminded both of us of a family member. And I said, well, one of two things is going to happen. That's either the good version of this family member, or when I go in there, he's going to be like, go to sleep now. Forever. There would be no in between. He's like, better you than me. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. Hello, Snipe. How are you doing? I saw your message. I couldn't respond. I was on the phone with Carmen. That'll be interesting. I'll have to look. But so anyway, I have to do another test. I have to drink. Have you guys ever had to do like where you drink that? It's like eating a box of chalk, from grade school before they had dry erase boards. It's not supposed to taste. It's supposed to taste like bananas or something, and it doesn't taste just like chalk. And so then they follow it through your system. I have to go do that. I'm waiting for them to schedule that, and then we'll have to see. So he thinks there might be a small obstruction there, and so he may either have to go in with and do, I don't know, like do a balloon or take that part out. I have no idea. Both sound horrible. One sounds a little less horrible, but I got to get through this next thing first, and then we shall see. But that's my update. That's all I got. I'm going to do my best to get through trial of day 2 on this tonight. So, plus there's all the noise going around, so I will probably try to stay muted as much as I possibly can until they leave, and I don't have any idea when that's going to be. But we are going to see some detectives today. We're going to start with a detective and end with a Jessica Crawford. I don't know what she is. She is. I didn't write down. You thought I was going to have to drink prune juice? Ew. No. Yeah, it'll be okay. I don't know what it is yet, so. All is good till they tell me it's not. And I don't expect them to tell me it's not, and if they have to go get it. I've always known, my GI doctor is very honest with me, and he tells me, like, people with Crohn's disease, their chances of having to have some sort of surgery at some point it's basically 50%. I've gone a long time without any major complications from it. So if this is the one I have, and he just has to either put a balloon in there and however that works, I don't know, or go in there and take that part out, and that's it. It's fine. I have done that test too. I've done it twice. Twice now. And I just want to go get it done and over with because I want to get that drink done. It's so bad. You like prunes? I'll send you my share. I don't know if I do or not. I don't know if I do or not. I don't like raisins. I don't like dates. So, who knows? Anyway, if you are just joining us, we're covering the Wisconsin versus Kevin Lychwick. He is, I think I saw he's 63. I think we discussed this maybe last week. He's on trial for taking the life of his neighbor and then concealing his body after that. He's representing himself. He has been a little argumentative right now because he claims he doesn't feel well. He claims that he has a rip or tear in his stomach. I have no idea. The problem is we can't see his face because of the way that the camera is. So like you can't look at him to see, like, do you really not feel well? Are you just being combative because you don't want to go to trial? You know, he's I don't know. I think he's had some medical issues. I think they discussed them pre-trial. We didn't see that part. It's been discussed again. He's a 63-year-old boomer. Hey. But the judge is being, I think, very patient with him. He's not cross-examined anybody so far that we've watched on day 2. He did on day 1. He's not responding to anything. He's just sitting there. And then if he does decide to respond to the judge, this trial's a travesty. He's not getting a fair trial. He's not ready for trial. He shouldn't be there. There's a ton of reasons on why this shouldn't go on. The judge has made it very clear. It's going on. It's like, period, end of discussion. Ask a question, don't ask a question. That's on you. So he's under protest. Oh, gosh. I do think he could use some friends. I don't know. Maybe not if he's got a tear in his stomach. I have no idea. So first up, we have Detective David Feen. I don't know what good I need some power means up there. That made me laugh. So me too. Alrighty. This is, I think, the detective going up to the stand because this lady over here, I think, is the one that we just stopped listening to because she was doing all the Cellbrite stuff and it was taking her forever just to tell us one thing, and then so we skipped her.
Detective, you can come up to the witness stand here, and when you get up here, please remain standing and raise your right hand to be sworn by our clerk.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you. You may be seated. When you are ready to begin, start by stating your name, spelling your first and last for the record.
First name is David, D-A-V-I-D. Last name, Fine, F-E-Y-E-N.
Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a detective with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
How long have you been so employed?
24 years.
Do you currently have a special assignment within the City of Waukesha Police Department?
Yes, I do.
And what is that assignment?
So I'm one of two members of our digital forensic unit, formerly known as computer forensics unit. We are responsible for anything evidentiary that comes into our department that has to do with digital evidence, i.e. cloud download, cell phone extractions, laptops, computers, thumb drives, memory cards, things of that nature.
A lot more variety than just computers nowadays, fair to say?
Fair to say.
Okay. Now, in order to have this special assignment in the forensic department, do you or did you obtain any kind of specialized training or certifications to be able to understand this data that you're extracting and also use the software tools that allow you to do that?
Yes, I have been doing this since approximately 2012. In that time, I've had continued education throughout my career as the DFU unit, and I probably have accumulated over 800 hours of formalized training. That does not include, speaking with other people and kind of doing informal training. I probably do about 200 exams per year of a device or a computer. I've gone through training with IASIS, the International Association of Computer Specialists, and they've received their certification. I've also received certifications from Cellbrite, Magnet, several other companies in terms of using their software and their tools to do extractions both on cell phones and computers. Received training down through the Secret Service at NCFI in Alabama on a variety of computer and network examinations for forensics.
Your lab at your police department, do you also assist other agencies, other law enforcement agencies within Waukesha County if their departments don't have this kind of equipment but do need assistance with downloading or extracting data from devices?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Now, do you have, and you've talked about it a little bit, but do you have specific training as it relates to either Apple iPhones or Android phones, knowing that they're different operating systems?
Yes.
Okay. And can you still use the same software tools to perform an extraction on an Android versus an iPhone, or are there different tools you use?
No, we use a variety of tools, but all the ones we use can run both Android and Apple software phones.
Once you receive an item, can you explain for the jury the process of creating a forensic image of that device?
In terms of cell phones?
Yes, let's talk about cell phones, sorry.
Certainly. So the process is that I will obtain the physical device either directly from an investigator, police officer, detective, or it'll be in our evidence room. I'll check that device out, bring it up to our lab. And I also examined the search authority, making sure we have a valid search warrant or consent to search the device. Then I will make sure I can isolate it from networks. So that means putting the phone into airplane mode if I can. If I can't, I'll try to remove the SIM card from the phone and to take that out to isolate it from cellular networks. Last resort is we have a specialized room within our department where you can walk into and it closes the doors and shuts out all radio frequencies. And this way I protect the phone from receiving or sending any messages out or getting wiped remotely. And then once I've secured the phone and isolated from networks, I'll then connect it to two of our primary devices, either a magnet gray key, magnet, M-A-G-N-E-T, gray key, G-R-A-Y-K-E-Y, or a Celebrite UFED, UFED device to help extract the data from the phone. Once I extract the data from the phone, I can use another software tool. In this case, we use Celebrite physical analyzer software to help decode and let me sort through and sift through and view all the pictures, text messages, call logs, all the information that's on the phone that you see as a user, as well as a lot of information you don't actually see as a user. It's hidden, such as log files and GPS locations.
You talked about making sure that you put the phone in airplane mode or otherwise prevent it from accessing the network. What concerns do you have about the data within the phone if it stays connected to the network as you're trying to make this forensic image?
Well, we want to keep the phone as, fresh as possible, as close to the event. So I don't want new data to come in the way of pop-up messages, Facebook messages, somebody calling the phone, because that can push out and delete old information that I may have needed. I also don't want, if the owner happens to be out of custody and they have access or they call a friend, I don't want them to send a remote wipe signal and I have the phone sitting in my hands and all of a sudden it reboots and it says, welcome, please set up your new phone. I don't want that to happen because once that happens, I've lost all my data. So it's important to isolate it from cellular networks and Wi-Fi networks.
Okay. Now, when we talk about that process, you mentioned what I think are two different steps. The extraction itself, which in this case with the two phones you were given by investigating detectives, you use Cellbrite Premium to do the actual extraction. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you have that extraction, is that sometimes referred to as the raw data from the phone?
Yes, we call it a full file system, but yeah, it's the data that the phone is pull out. The phone gives to the software tool that includes all the messages and pictures and things that we want to look at.
Then you take that extraction or the full file system, if that's what you were able to obtain, and then you put that into the Cellbrite Physical Analyzer, and that's the software that kind of decodes everything in that full file system you obtained. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are there times where when you are extracting a phone or creating that forensic image that you do not get a full file system extraction?
Yes, it does happen. It depends on the software version of the phone. Sometimes it depends on the phone brand itself. Sometimes we're limited. The full file system is what we really want to get. That gets as much data as possible. Sometimes there's something we call a logical or advanced logical, which is a lot less data, but it's typically the information that would be on the phone that you would see if you were to hand scroll. So all your pictures that are on there, your call logs, your text messages, that sort of thing. That will come in advanced logical, along with some other information, but the full file system is what we really go after each time because it has the most data we can possibly pull off the phone.
Does it also matter if you have the passcode to get into the phone in terms of how much data you can retrieve from the phone, or whether it's that partial or full file system?
Yes, having the passcode certainly helps. We have ways to get around some passcodes, not all of them. But yes, if I'm able to go around the passcode, sometimes I get slightly less data. But again, it's a wide range of information we can get depending on the phone, the operating system, the updates from Celebrate or Gray Key in terms of how much data we can get from it. There's a lot of variables that are involved.
Why do you engage in this process where you are using software tools to create this forensic image of the phone versus just manually scrolling through it?
Use the analogy of an iceberg. If you imagine the iceberg has a large chunk below the water surface, then what you see above it is just a portion of it. If you manually scroll a phone, you're seeing just the top. There's a lot of information that lies below. And if you were just going to manually scroll and take pictures of the phone, if that's the only option we have because of software updates, that's what we take. But I want the full file system to get as much data as possible and get all that ice that's below the water.
If you were to manually scroll through a phone versus using one of these tools, do you run the risk of potentially changing timestamps or making changes to any of that underlying data that you talked about?
Absolutely. So if I start looking at pictures, I'm going to start changing timestamps on pictures. If I start reading text messages, I may change a message that was unread to read, and that's going to show up in any forensic download I would do later on. In the background, the phone is always creating logs. So if I start holding the phone and turning it, like my iPhones will register your orientation. So I'm creating new data on the phone that I really shouldn't. So doing the file system extraction with a forensically sound tool is the best way to get as much data without adding or modifying or creating any additional information on the phone by my own actions.
Now, once you are ready to start creating a forensic image of a phone, do you first obtain that phone from property, or is it given directly to you by the investigating detective, or something else?
It can be either way. Sometimes I collect it myself if I'm at the crime scene. Sometimes it's handed to me. Sometimes I check it out at evidence. It really depends on the case.
And going back to October and November of 2024, were you approached by Detective Stern to assist with the forensic examination of 4 digital devices?
I believe it was 5 altogether.
5 altogether. Okay, thank you for correcting me. In focusing on a cell phone that belonged to Carlos Maldonado, a phone belonging to Kevin Lychwick, and 2 SD cards. Were those 4 of the 5 devices you were provided by Detective Stern or requested to extract by him?
Yes.
Okay. Starting with the phone then, that was belonging to Carlos Maldonado, was that a Samsung phone?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Now, did you follow that same 2-step process that we talked about earlier to create a forensic image of Mr. Maldonado's phone?
Yes.
And were you able to obtain a full file system extraction for his phone?
Yes.
Okay. When you are performing this extraction, once you have completed that 2-step process, do you review the forensic image yourself, or do you give it back to the detectives to review, or a mixture of both, or something else?
I'd say it's a mixture of both, again, case dependent. Sometimes I will turn over the Celebrate report that's created after I generate it and give it to the investigator and say, you know the case better than I do, you look through it. In this case, I looked at it first, found some artifacts of interest, and then turned it over to Detective Stern to actually have him look at it because he had a bigger view of what was going on. and then he was able to find artifacts that were relevant for this case. So it's kind of a mixture of both.
Okay. Now, once during that second step, you input that full file system extraction into the Cellbrite Physical Analyzer, are either you or the detectives reviewing it able to create a bookmark report that is generated through Cellbrite?
Yes.
Okay, and that's what you were, is that part of what you're talking about with sometimes you review it and flag artifacts that might be of interest, or the detectives can do that when they're reviewing it on their own? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you reviewed the extraction from Mr. Maldonado's phone, or when you reviewed the extraction from Mr. Maldonado's phone, did you find any artifacts that told you that the user of this phone was Mr. Maldonado?
Yes.
Can you give a couple examples of what you found to show that, yes, this was Mr. Maldonado's phone?
The name of the phone, which is something that you can create, I think it was Carlos's, and it had the model number after it. It was Carlos's, and then the model number of the phone after it. There was a Facebook account associated with him. His name appeared several times in the phone itself. There was a lot of selfie pictures taken with the phone in a selfie format of him, clear. So those, a lot of user artifacts which led back to Mr. Maldonado.
Were you able to view Mr. Maldonado's browser history, specifically at 7:38 p.m. on April 13th of 2024?
Yes.
And why did you review that particular search, or that part of the web history?
I was trying to establish a timeline of when the phone was last used. And sometimes people aren't always calling or texting, sometimes they're web surfing instead of that. So I'm looking to find out when is the last time that phone is being used.
Do you remember what that browser history search was?
Don't.
Okay, that's okay. Now, did you also look at as you're going through the phone to assess a timeline, did you note any outgoing activity on April 14th, 2024 at 9:20 and 31 seconds in the morning?
Yes, I did.
And do you know did you see the phone number that was called?
I did.
And did you run that phone number to see who or what kind of business that phone number belonged to?
Yeah, it was the Home Depot in Delafield, Wisconsin.
Okay. Now, once you see that outgoing call and you look for the rest of the day on April 14th of 2024, and maybe even in the days following, did the phone receive text messages?
Yes.
Did the phone receive incoming calls?
Yes.
Are you able to tell if any of those text messages or phone calls were answered or if they were missed?
I could see that they were all missed.
So after that outgoing call at 9:20 and 31 seconds in the morning, nothing else gets returned in terms of text or calls.
Correct.
Now moving on to the 2 SD cards that you were provided by Detective Stern. Is there a different kind of imaging process as it relates to SD cards versus cell phones?
Yes, there is.
What is that imaging process?
The imaging process takes the physical card. In this case, it was a micro SD card, a 32 gigabyte Waze brand, W-Y-Z-E, branded memory card. And I place it into what's called a write blocker. And a write blocker is a piece of physical hardware attached to my computer. And what it does, when it's turned on, it prevents any computer from writing, modifying, deleting any data that's on that evidentiary, in this case, memory card. So if I were just to try to open the memory card, I can view everything that's on it. I can make a copy of it, but I cannot tamper or change anything on the actual card itself. So the process is, once I insert the card into this write blocker, I use a tool called FTK Imager. and then I create a bit-for-bit copy of everything that's on that card. And once I have that, the image of the card, I then can point my forensic tools at the image, and then the card itself goes back into evidence.
In this case, with the two SD cards, once you have that copy, or the image copy, do you then run those image copies through Axiom?
Yes, I use Magnet Axiom as the tool to look at that image.
Okay. Did you review every single item that, or I guess video or image that was on that copy?
No, I took a really brief glance at what it was, but I did not go every single video clip.
And were you able, so they were all video clips on this image copy?
They were all video clips.
Okay, and that would have been then provided to the investigating detectives for them to review it and see if there was anything of evidentiary value on there?
That's correct.
Okay. Lastly then, were you provided a Samsung phone belonging to an individual by the name of Kevin Lychwick?
I was.
And to your knowledge, was that recovered during a search warrant at his apartment and the phone was recovered from his bedroom?
Yes, it was.
Were you able to see, once you placed the phone on airplane mode, did the phone have a passcode?
This phone did not have a passcode.
Okay. Now, did you perform that same two-step process that we talked about you performing on Mr. Maldonado's phone?
Yes.
And from Mr. Lychwick's phone, were you able to obtain a full file system extraction?
Yes.
Did you end up reviewing the extraction from Mr. Lychwick's phone, or would that have been provided to Detective Stern for additional analysis?
Again, just like the first phone, I did a preliminary review of the phone results. I bookmarked several items, but then I turned everything over to Detective Stern, again, who had a better view of the whole case in chief to review and find the evidence that was really important.
I have no further questions for this witness. Thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, do you have cross-examination questions for this witness? Mr. Lychwick is not responding to the court, therefore, Detective, you may step down. Attorney Thompson, why don't we take a short break?
I think that's perfect.
So I'm going to excuse the jury for about
Me
5
too.
10 minutes, and we will resume testimony after that.
I had to. I had to say it. Yes, I did.
Thank you. You may be seated. We are outside the presence of the jury. I'll just make a record of my observations of the defendant during that period of testimony. The defendant continued to remain seated in his wheelchair with his arms crossed. His eyes were closed for most of the testimony. When Detective Fine started testifying, he was appeared to be looking at Detective Fine through heavily squinted eyes, as though he were keeping them mostly closed, but still taking peeks at the detective when he testified. Otherwise, the defendant was similarly non-responsive as he has been so far for most of today. Anything the state wants to place on the record before we break?
No, thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, anything else from you? All right, we will break for 10 minutes.
Okay. No problem. The judge is over it. Very much so. And I don't blame him. Oh, oops.
Cold and was requesting
Here we go.
The appearances are the same. During the break, I was advised that Mr. Lychwick was cold and was requesting a blanket or some covering. So I authorized our bailiffs to look for something, and he's been provided with what looks like a pretty heavy-duty coat that was placed on him, and he is now wearing that coat, which, by the way, covers up the orange jail outfit, at least from the waist up. Otherwise, Mr. Lychwick remains in the wheelchair. Anything else before we bring the jury in, Attorney Thompson?
No, thank you.
Mr. Lychwick? Okay, let's bring the jury in.
Nope. Is this a coat fort? We could only hope.
Actually, Judge, there is one thing about scheduling. Sorry, I just thought
Go ahead.
about it. We do have several witnesses in line. We're calling one slightly out of order because we were competing with a Milwaukee County trial. The 3 witnesses at the end of our case in chief are fairly long, each of them. So my thought is that the state will probably rest sometime tomorrow, maybe later in the afternoon. But because we are competing with the Milwaukee County trial, we might finish a little bit early today because I don't want to call one of those really long witnesses, start them, and then break for the day. So while I think we'll be okay to get us through the rest of the day, I might run out of witnesses towards the end.
Is that other witness available? I ask that because I don't want to finish at 4 and then lose potentially an hour of testimony. I had intended to go a little bit longer today because we got off to a late start with the jury.
Okay.
If you are telling me, though, that you are in a position to potentially rest tomorrow afternoon, I'm okay ending the testimony a little bit early today because we have a lot of extra time then. But I don't want to end too early. So we'll deal with it as we go along. I understand what you're saying. We'll just kind of see where we're at, if that's okay.
Okay. I certainly don't think, we would be done by 3:30 today.
Okay. Well, let's do what you have with those remaining witnesses that you know to get on the stand today.
Okay.
And then we'll reassess that.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can bring the jury in.
Also, she doesn't rest on day 3 either. Spoiler alert. Because they never seem to do that. I got a half hour at most. 2 hours later.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. I do want to just update you. I had a conversation with the parties about scheduling, and we are still very much on track in this trial. And maybe our initial estimation of 4 to 5 days for it may be too long, and we may be in position to finish well ahead of that. I don't want to make any promises, but I don't want you to worry that we're falling behind or anything like that. We are still very much on track. So, Attorney Thompson, the state may call its next witness.
Your Honor, we call Detective Bryce Golden, please.
All right. Detective, come up to the witness stand, please. And when you get up here, please remain standing and raise your right hand to be sworn in by my clerk.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. When you get yourself situated, please start by stating your name, spelling your first and last for the record.
My name is Bryce Skolten, spelled B-R-Y-C-E. Skolten is S-C-H-O-L-T-E-N.
Attorney Tom Bosco.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, where are you employed?
I'm employed with the City of Waukesha Police Department.
Are you a specialist or are you just a detective, sir?
I'm a detective.
Okay. And how many years have you been with the Waukesha Police Department, sir?
11 years.
Directing your attention to November 26th of 2024, did you respond to an apartment located at 1512 East North Street?
Yes, I did.
And did you specifically respond to apartment number 11?
Yes, I did.
And that's in the city and county of Waukesha, state of Wisconsin?
Yes, it is.
Why did you respond to that particular apartment, sir?
I responded there with many other detectives to assist Detective Ben Stern, who was executing a search warrant at this residence.
And do you know who had rented this particular residence?
Yes, I do.
Who was that individual?
Kevin Lychwick.
And when you arrived on scene, were you assigned to assist with the search of that particular residence?
Yes, I was.
Were you assigned to search a specific area of the residence?
Yes, I was.
And what area were you assigned to search?
I was assigned to search the living room.
And did you in fact, then, kind of a silly question, but just to make sure, did you in fact make entry into Mr. Lychwick's living room?
Yes, I did.
And when you entered his living room, did you locate a large quantity of paper and boxes?
Yes, I did.
And did you, in terms of the area of the living room, did you search a specific area within that living room?
Yes, I primarily searched the area nearest the windows, and there was a makeshift desk made out of cardboard boxes. There was a telephone there, and there was also filing cabinets in that area. So it was the area of the living room that probably was surrounded by the most paperwork and boxes.
And in addition to yourself, was there a Detective Bauer who assisted you with the search as well?
Yes.
Were you and Detective Bauer in close proximity to each other when this search took place?
Yes, standing right next to each other.
And was there a point in time when you were engaged in this search that you located many pieces of paperwork?
Yes.
And was it your opinion at that time that this paperwork that you had located had evidentiary value in this case?
That is correct.
And what did you do with this paper after you located it?
Because there was such a large quantity of paper, to put it in perspective, it was just boxes and boxes all lined like the side of the living room. And going through that, we quickly realized that we would be there all day if we went through all the paperwork right then and there. So anything that we looked like could be evidentiary value, we took to the side and we put it in 2 large cardboard boxes, and then we brought that back to the Waukesha Police Department. We went through it like much slower and read through everything then at the police department.
And when the paperwork was brought back to the Waukesha Police Department, do you know whether Detective Ben Stern was one of the officers who looked through it?
Yes, Detective Stern was there with me and several others.
Was Detective Stern on scene when the search of Mr. Lychwick's apartment took place?
I believe he was.
And in terms of some of the paperwork that you located, are you familiar with a particular operation known as Operation Starling?
Yes, I am.
And in reference to this particular Operation Starling, can you just tell the jury a little bit more? What exactly is the connection between Operation Starling and this particular case?
So as we were going through the paperwork, we came across several different operations. Detective Bauer had located a piece of paper in the apartment that was Operation Slop Shop. This is different than that. It was located in a different folder that I found back at the police department, but this operation referenced Operation Slop Shop, and in operation, it stated that Operation Slop Shop needed to be executed first. And then on the bottom of the paperwork, I believe it also stated, it was written in different ink, where it then stated that the operation could commence because Operation Slop Shop had been executed and all threats from that operation were neutralized. And I knew that from Bauer's piece of paper, that's where Maldonado's name was written on that. So that's how I know they were linked.
Do you know whether the piece of paper that described this Operation Starling was ever seized, sir?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And if I showed you a copy of that physical paper here today in court, do you believe that you would recognize it?
Yes, I would.
Your Honor, this has been previously marked as State's Exhibit number 147. I would ask permission to approach the witness.
Sure, let's have Mr. Lychwick view the exhibit first. Mr. Lychwick, would you like to see exhibit 147 before it is used with this witness? Mr. Lychwick has looked at the court and not acknowledged the court, so Attorney Tombasco, you can approach the witness.
Thank you very much. Detective, just to identify, that exhibit I just handed you is marked State's Exhibit number 147. Is that right?
That is correct.
And is that the piece of paper that, from the search of Mr. Lychwick's apartment, that you or Detective Bauer seized?
This is the one that I seized at the police department.
And does that particular exhibit detail an Operation Starling on it?
Yes, it does.
And towards the bottom of that particular exhibit, what you just testified to regarding Operation Slop Shop, is that written in different colored ink at that bottom of that exhibit, sir?
Yes, it is. It's written in a different color ink.
Your Honor, at this point, I would ask that the exhibit be received into evidence.
Any objection, Mr. Lychwick? The defendant is not acknowledging the court. The court will receive exhibit 147.
Detective, directing your attention now to December 1st of 2024, did you receive a specific notification on that particular day in reference to Mr. Lychwick's vehicle?
Yes, I did.
And just to give the jury a little bit of context, at that point in time, had your department applied for and received a GPS warrant to track Mr. Lychwick's vehicle's movements?
Yes, we had.
And that was signed by a judge?
Yes.
So you didn't just willy-nilly slap a GPS signal on his car. You actually followed the correct legal process in order to obtain that.
That is correct.
And on December 1st of 2024, did you receive any sort of notification in reference to that GPS device?
Yes, I did.
And what did that notification provide to you?
That was a notification that Mr. Lychwick's vehicle was leaving his residence.
And at this point, Detective, had Mr. Lychwick's phone been seized as part of the search of his residence?
Yes, it was.
And was there anything in particular found on his device that provided you with some insights of where you think Mr. Lychwick may have been going on that particular day?
Yes, I was informed by Detective Stern that there were some Google searches on the phone looking for different storage units up north, I think around the Oshkosh area.
So as a result of what you had learned in reference to this notification, what, if anything, did you and Detective Stern do next?
We were watching the location of Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, and then when we realized that he was not exhibiting normal driving behaviors, because we had been watching him for some time since this GPS had been on, he normally always stayed very local. Once we realized that he was going farther north, and that was outside of an abnormal pattern, we believed that he was potentially going to whatever storage unit he may have located from that Google search.
Did you and Detective Stern at that point then attempt to follow Mr. Lychwick's vehicle?
Yes, we did.
And when you were following Mr. Lychwick's vehicle out of Waukesha County, were you driving a fully marked police squad car at that point?
No, we were not. We were in an undercover vehicle.
So this undercover vehicle would look like any sort of normal vehicle that we might see on the roadway?
That is correct.
And is that to ensure that Mr. Lychwick did not, I guess for lack of a better term, figure out that the police were following him?
That is correct.
And at that point, was it you and Detective Stern who were driving this undercover vehicle together?
Yes, I was riding and Detective Stern was driving.
Did you ultimately follow Mr. Lychwick's vehicle to a U-Haul storage facility?
Yes, we did.
And where was this U-Haul storage facility located?
Kimberly, Wisconsin. I believe it was 551 Marcella Drive.
If I told you your report said it was Marcella Street, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
And for the record, is Marcella spelled M-A-R-C-E-L-L-A?
Yes.
And well, actually, let me back up and ask it this way. Did you and Detective Stern then follow him to the U-Haul storage facility or undercover vehicle?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Sure. Did you and Detective Stern both follow the defendant's vehicle to that particular U-Haul facility in Kimberly?
Yes, we did. We caught up with Mr. Lychwick while he was at the U-Haul location.
And what did he do specifically when he arrived at this U-Haul facility?
When we arrived, his vehicle was parked on the north side of the building, and then he left several minutes later. We later found out that he had closed his account and closed his storage unit at this U-Haul facility and emptied all of his belongings out of the storage unit.
Is it fair to say that he did not spend a great deal of time at this U-Haul facility?
No, I believe he was only on premise for approximately 20 minutes.
And so after Mr. Lychwick finished his business at the U-Haul facility, did he then turn around and drive back to Waukesha County?
Yes, he did.
And did you and Detective Stern at that point follow the defendant's vehicle back to Waukesha County?
Yes, we did.
And did you maintain a constant visual on Mr. Lychwick's vehicle?
Yes, we did.
And did Mr. Lychwick's vehicle make any stops on its path of travel back to Waukesha County?
No, it did not.
And who was driving your undercover vehicle at this point while you were following Mr. Lychwick?
Detective Stern.
And while Detective Stern was piloting the undercover vehicle that you were both in, did you utilize your phone to contact somebody?
Yes, I called the U-Haul storage facility that we were discussing, and I spoke with an employee there.
Detective, just to take a step back, based on your training and experience as a police officer, did you find the location of this particular storage unit in Kimberly suspicious?
Yes, I did.
Why did you find that sort of storage unit to be suspicious?
For several reasons. First off, the location and its proximity to Waukesha, where Mr. Lychwick resides. There's numerous storage units in our city and Waukesha County, as well as Milwaukee County. I also found out that through the search warrant at the residence, he kept detailed notes regarding his budget, and every month he would budget approximately $40 to $50 for gasoline for the month. And I thought it was suspicious that being on a fixed income, he would, have a storage unit nearly 2 hours away and burning through that budget in one trip. So to us, it was clear that if he was trying to get a storage unit that far away, he was clearly trying to distance himself from whatever he was trying to put in that storage unit.
And when you followed Mr. Lychwick's vehicle back to Waukesha County, did you observe him toss anything out the window when he was driving back?
No.
And to your knowledge, was Mr. Lychwick the only individual in the vehicle at that time?
That is correct.
Detective, was there a point in time in which you responded back to the U-Haul facility in Kimberly after you followed Mr. Lychwick back to Waukesha County on December 1st?
Yes, I responded back there with Detective Bauer on December 2nd.
And was there any particular reason why you had gone back to that facility, sir?
Yes, I went back to speak with the U-Haul employee, Brianna Maloney. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Brianna Maloney. I believe it's Maloney. She was the employee that I spoke to on the phone while riding back to Waukesha with Detective Stern, and she was the one that provided me all the information on the unit being closed and everything that day as well. So I responded up there to speak with her regarding pretty much our statement that she had given to me over the phone. So I took a written statement from her, locking in that conversation, as well as I walked through the storage unit confirming that there was no items left behind. And then I also met with her boss, Kenneth, who ran the U-Haul store, and I reviewed video surveillance from the day prior. And then I was able to gain all those videos of Mr. Lychwick while he was on property at the U-Haul store.
And sir, prior to your testimony in court here today, have you had an opportunity to review those surveillance videos from U-Haul?
Yes, I have.
And so if I was to show you those videos here today in court, would you be able to tell us whether or not those are the same videos that you reviewed at the U-Haul on December 2nd of 2024?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Just one moment, please, sir.
Madam Clerk, at this point, I would just ask that we project the exhibit to the witness's screen. Detective, are you able to see what I just projected on the screen, or what the clerk just did, rather?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And do you recognize, I can scroll through each of these videos if you would like. It starts with what has been previously marked as State's Exhibit 93 and goes all the way to State's Exhibit Proposed 101. Do you recognize these particular exhibits, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Would you like me to scroll through all of them?
No, I should be okay.
Okay. And these are the same exhibits that you reviewed prior to your testimony in court here today, is that right?
That is correct.
And do these exhibits fairly and accurately depict the U-Haul surveillance footage that you reviewed when you were on scene on December 2nd of 2024?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I would move all these exhibits, starting with State's Exhibit 93 and then concluding with State's Exhibit number 101 into evidence. These are each separate video clips. They are appropriately time-stamped as well with a date.
Mr. Lychwick, do you object to the admission of Exhibits 93 through 101? The defendant remains silent. Those exhibits will be admitted.
Thank you. And at this point, Your Honor, I would ask the court's permission to publish all of these videos to the jury.
Mr. Lychwick, any objection to publication of those videos at this time? The defendant remains silent. The videos may be used with the jury.
Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, just to make a record, Detective, can you see the timestamp that's listed on the bottom of this video?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so when I start this video, this is December 1st of 2024, and it says 15:16 on the video clip. Is that right?
That is correct.
And do you have any information from U-Haul about whether the timestamp on this particular video was accurate as reflected on this exhibit?
It was accurate.
Okay, and so this is 3:16 in the afternoon on December 1st of 2024. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And I'm stopping the video at, this is 3:16:13. Do you see an individual here depicted in this video that's to the right, is towards the right side of the picture, wearing black hair and has a black coat on, sir?
Yes, I do.
Who is that individual?
That is Kevin Lychwick.
You've resumed playing the video at this point.
Yes, sir. And the state is stopping the video at 3:18 on December 1st of 2024.
That's 3:18 and 29 seconds on the timestamp.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Detective, that video that we just showed the jury, is that Mr. Lychwick closing out his storage unit?
Yes, it is.
This has been now received as State's Exhibit number 94. This is time-stamped as December 1st, 2024, and it looks like 3:18. Is that all correct, Detective?
That's correct.
I'm stopping the video at 3:19:30 on December 1st of 2024. Detective, do you recognize the vehicle that is depicted at the top of this exhibit?
Yes,
Whose vehicle is that, sir?
that is Mr. Lychwick's vehicle.
And continuing to play at 3:19:30. Now, Detective, this has been received as State's Exhibit number 95. Again, this is December 1st of 2024 at 3:23 in the afternoon. Is that right, sir?
That's correct.
There is a vehicle that is depicted at the top of this exhibit. Do you see that?
Yes.
Is this Mr. Lychwick's vehicle as well?
Yes, it is.
Stopping the video at 3:24:03 on December 1st of 2024. Is there a gentleman that we see in the upper left-hand corner who exits the vehicle, sir?
Yes.
Is that Mr. Lychwick?
Yes, it is.
Do you know, based on your review of this footage, what Mr. Lychwick is doing at this point in time?
Yes, he's pulled up to this gate that he came in, but this is only a one-way gate. This is only the entrance, so he's trying to motion to employees to open the gate. And then when no one does that, he will get back in his vehicle and then drive around the building and go out the exit.
Do you know whether or not this is before or after Mr. Lychwick had cleared out his storage unit?
This is after.
Resuming playing at 3:24 on December 1st, 2024, 3:24:03. And the state is stopping playing at 3:25:00 on December 1st, 2024. Detective, did Mr. Lychwick's vehicle remain at that gate for several minutes?
Yes.
And he attempted to get the attention of another U-Haul employee for the gate to be opened?
That is correct.
And he was unsuccessful in those efforts?
That's correct.
Detective, this has been received as State's Exhibit 96. It's time-stamped 3:14:54 on December 1st of 2024.
And the state is stopping at 3:15:35 on December 1st of 2024. Detective, is this Mr. Lychwick's vehicle entering the property or exiting?
I do not believe that is Mr. Lychwick's vehicle.
Okay. The state will resume again 3:15:37. Detective, Mr. Lychwick drove a Kia, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. This is State's Exhibit 97 that's been received. This is December 1st of 2024, 3:29 in the afternoon, is that right?
That is correct.
And this particular exhibit depicts the inside of the U-Haul facility, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. The state will start playing at 3:29:59. Sir, the individual who was just depicted on this footage, that is not Mr. Lychwick, correct?
The male is Mr. Lychwick.
It is. Okay. Let's back it up and look at it one more time. Again, starting at 3:29. And we're stopping it at 3:30:30 on December 1st of 2024. Do you see Mr. Lychwick now at this point, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is he the gentleman who's wearing the black coat and blue jeans?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And this particular area of the U-Haul facility, sir, which is this, from your review of walking to the unit that was rented by Mr. Lychwick, is this the area in which his storage unit would have been in the facility?
No, so it's a little confusing. I believe right here they're walking back to like the front desk area where as they were appearing there, I think they are coming in from the north side of the building. So after Mr. Lychwick clears out his building or out of his storage unit, and then he moves his vehicle over there, he eventually will move his car over the north side of the building and then enter into the building. And then this is him entering the building, I believe. So this will be before that.
Okay.
This next one. This is when he will be clearing out his storage unit.
And this is State's Exhibit 98, is that right, sir?
Yes,
And this is 3:19 in the afternoon on December 1st, 2024.
correct.
And this is the outside area of the U-Haul facility, is that right?
That is correct.
And I believe you just testified that Mr. Lychwick's vehicle will be coming into camera view shortly on this particular exhibit?
That is correct.
Okay, we'll let it run. And stopping it at 3:15:19. Is that Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Resuming again, 3:15:19.
Hang on, the timestamp, you're reading it wrong, I believe. It's 3:19:41 is
Oh,
where you
excuse
stopped
me.
it.
Yes, that is correct. It is 3:19:41 on December 1st of 2024.
Excuse me.
and stopping it at 3:20:16 on December 1st of 2024. Do you see an individual depicted here who's exiting his vehicle now?
Yes, Mr. Lychwick will exit the driver's seat.
And does he pop the trunk area of his vehicle as well upon exiting the vehicle or before he exits the vehicle?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And at this point, Mr. Lychwick is the only individual who's in this particular vehicle from your review of the surveillance?
That's correct.
Okay. Letting this run again from 3:20:16. Stopping it at 3:20:32. Where is Mr. Lychwick entering at this particular point, Detective?
He's entering Building C, which that is a hallway that door leads to a hallway, and there are storage units on both your left and right side in this building. His unit is, it will be down this hallway and on the right, the way he's walking.
I'm sorry. Resuming playing at 3:20:32.
Attorney Tombasco, it looks like the video's locking up just for a couple of seconds at various points. I think it's resumed again here.
Okay. Would the court like me to go back or?
Why don't you go back just a couple of seconds?
Sure. Okay. And for the record, I'm restarting it at 3:22 exactly. And I'm stopping it now at, looks like 3:21:59, so just a few seconds before. Detective, do you see Mr. Lychwick in this vehicle?
He's at the rear of his vehicle, yes.
And do you know what Mr. Lychwick is doing at this point?
He is loading duffel bags into the trunk of his vehicle.
Do you know whether these duffel bags that you're testifying to, were those the same duffel bags that were from his unit?
I believe so.
Okay. And resuming playing again, 3:29:59. Okay. I'm stopping the exhibit at 3:22:40. Detective, this has been received as State's Exhibit 99. This is time-stamped as 3:14:28 on December 1st, 2024.
Stopping the exhibit at 31448. Is this Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, sir?
Yes, it is.
Is this the entrance area to the U-Haul facility?
Yes, it is.
Resuming playing 31448. I'm stopping the video at 3:15:55. Sir, is that Mr. Lychwick that you see exit the vehicle?
Yes, it is.
And there's nobody else in that vehicle at that time upon his arrival, is that right?
That is correct.
And I have looks like just two more surveillance clips I'd like to share with you. The first is State's Exhibit 100. This is time-stamped as 3/18/28. And again, just to orient the jury, this is again the front of the U-Haul facility, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And this is stopped at 3:18:49 on December 1st, 2024. This is Mr. Lychwick again, sir?
That is correct.
And this is him getting back into his vehicle after entering the facility?
Yes, and then he'll follow the van and then that white SUV into the entrance.
Okay. We'll resume playing here at 3:18:49. Stopping the vehicle at the video 3:19:28, and then finally, Detective, timestamp 3:23:24 on December 1st, 2024. This has been received as State's Exhibit 101. Stopping at 3:23:34. Is this Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, sir?
Yes, it is.
And is that after he was unable to access the gate that we showed on a prior exhibit?
He's actually driving up to it right now. So this is him. He has just left his storage unit because building C is the second one here. And his unit, he was parked on the far side. So he is fully loaded up and now he's going over to the initial fence that he came in, and then he won't be able to get through there. And then he will come back because the exit is right here to the right of your screen.
I see. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Now, Detective, when you were on scene at the U-Haul facility, did you request any paperwork related to the rental of the storage unit by Mr. Lychwick?
Yes, I asked for what information they had on Mr. Lychwick.
Okay. And do you know, ultimately, sir, whether
You had testified earlier in this case that Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, you followed Mr. Lychwick's vehicle back to Waukesha County after he closed out his storage unit. Do you remember that, sir?
Yes.
And do you know whether there was a period of time in which Mr. Lychwick's vehicle was actually stopped?
I don't believe it ever did stop. There was, from the moment he left the U-Haul, there was, the vehicle was always moving.
Okay. Was there a point in time in which ultimately a traffic stop was effectuated on Mr. Lychwick's vehicle?
Yes,
And was that the same day that he was coming back from the U-Haul facility?
that's correct.
Okay. And do you know whether, as a result of that traffic stop, his vehicle was searched?
It would eventually be after a search warrant was obtained.
So the vehicle was seized initially, and then a search warrant was applied for and received?
That is correct.
And do you know what, if anything, what was found as a result of that search?
Yes, I believe I called Detective Stern when I was at the U-Haul, informing him what I had observed on the cameras, where all the items that Mr. Lychwick had loaded out of his storage unit were all in the trunk. And then Detective Stern told me later that a firearm was recovered in the trunk of the vehicle.
Do you know whether any paperwork related to Mr. Lychwick's storage unit was found in that particular vehicle?
Yes, so when I responded back to Waukesha after being at the storage facility, I assisted with going through some of the paperwork that was in the vehicle, and I also located some paperwork, specifically the U-Haul contract that Mr. Lychwick had with U-Haul for the dates of that storage unit from November 1st until December 1st.
And
as well as MapQuest directions from his address to that location.
if I was to show you a copy of that paperwork here today in court, would you recognize it?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Your Honor, this is another physical exhibit. It has been marked as State's Exhibit 149. I'm happy to show Mr. Lychwick a copy as well. I would ask permission to approach the witness to show him this exhibit.
Mr. Lychwick, would you like to see Exhibit 149? All right, the defendant just adjusted the collar on his jacket, but is refusing to acknowledge the court. So therefore, Attorney Tombasco, you may approach.
Thank you so much. Detective, that exhibit has been marked as State's number 149. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
And is that the paperwork that you recovered?
Just one moment. Detective, just make sure it doesn't rub up against the microphone there, please. Thank you.
Detective, may I go ahead, Your Honor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Detective, if you know, is that particular U-Haul paperwork what was recovered from the search of the defendant's vehicle?
Yes, it is.
And that fairly and accurately depicts the copy of the U-Haul contract as well?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I'm out of the exhibit and evidence and ask that it be received.
Any objection to the admission of 149, Mr. Lychwick? Mr. Lychwick is not acknowledging the court. Exhibit 149 is received into evidence.
Thank you. Detective, is there a name on that particular contract?
Yes, there is.
What is the name listed on that contract?
Conrad Lychwick.
And do you know anything in reference to the name Conrad of any significance in this case?
Yes, I do.
And can you explain that?
I know Mr. Lychwick goes by the first name of Conrad.
And when the individual who rented that particular storage unit did so, is there an address that particular person provided?
Yes, they did.
And what address was provided?
1512 East North Street, apartment number 11.
And do you know whether or not that is in fact Mr. Lychwick's address?
It is.
And does the paperwork contain any information concerning any promotions that U-Haul was running at the time this rental took place?
I don't know if there's like any promotions on here, but I do know that the staff members there told me that they were running a 1 month free promotion during that time. And it is indicated on this document 1 month free.
Is that 149?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's all the questions I have, Detective. Thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, do you have
Oh
any
my
cross-examination
gosh.
questions?
That was horrible.
Okay, Detective, you may step down. I'll take those exhibits, please. Thank you. The state may call its next witness.
The state calls Brianna.
Maybe this witness will tie up all that in a nice little bow, because this is the storage unit, the person that worked at the storage unit facility. But that was horrible. I don't know what that had to do with anything. It's like his buying the big thing of laundry detergent. Who cares? Unless they can tell us what he took from there, who cares? That proves nothing. They'd already found the body by this time. He didn't move a body there. He didn't take, well, maybe he did at some point take a body there and move it out of there. But if you can't prove it, oh my gosh. It does, that's true. It does not help that it's essentially a one-sided trial. That is the defendant's fault. He could have asked, I don't know. I don't know what he would have asked, but I'm not an attorney. He's choosing to do nothing. It's like they're documenting where he went in his car. Yeah. And the fact that he got a storage unit 2 hours away, that's kind of weird. That's a long ways, but maybe it's because they had a promotion. I don't know. But we'll see if the, is there evidence in this trial? Yeah, it's just not, that wasn't, as far as I know. I don't know that that was any of it. But that's the defendant, Peltown, and he's representing himself, and he's mad, and he's not asking anything. He's not even responding to the judge. He's not asking any questions. He's doing nothing. So, but, yeah. What if any? All right, let's see what the employee has to say. At least that was the longest witness of the night. So he's done. And my gosh, thank goodness.
Anna Maloney.
Ms. Maloney, you can come all the way up here to the witness stand to my left. When you get up here, please remain standing and raise your right hand to be sworn in by my clerk.
I see what you did there, Puddleton. 0.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do.
All right, you may have a seat. That black bar with the red dot in front of you is our microphone. Just get yourself positioned nice and close to that, where you are. And when you are ready, start by stating your name, spelling your first and last name for the record.
Sure. My name is Brianna Maloney, Brianna, Maloney, Maloney.
Ms. Maloney, how are you currently employed?
I work for the Montana Conservation Corps.
And how long have you been employed with the Montana Conservation Corps?
Since February of this year.
Prior to your employment with the Minnesota Conservation Corps, did you work at a U-Haul facility located at 551 Marcellus Street in Kimberly, Wisconsin?
Yes.
How long were you employed at that U-Haul location?
Roughly 2 years.
Were you working at the U-Haul facility in Kimberly on December 1st of 2024?
Yes.
What was your position at U-Haul at that time?
I was an assistant manager.
As an assistant manager, what were your roles or responsibilities?
I managed and helped take care of 4 storage facilities and also worked one-on-one with customers over the customer service desk.
At the time, on or about December 1st of 2024, was this particular U-Haul facility running any kind of special promotion as it related to the first month's rent?
Yeah, we gave the first month free to new storage customers.
Had that been something that was ongoing and it's done for every new customer, or was that promotion only for a specific time frame?
That was ongoing for a longer period of time, yeah.
As part of your role as an assistant manager, are you familiar with any receipts or agreements or paperwork that is generated between U-Haul and either a new customer or ongoing customers?
Yes, when they sign up to have a storage unit with us, they sign a rental agreement, and then we also have a digital contract online in our own system.
When someone closes out a storage unit or closes out their account, are they then provided with any kind of receipt once that closeout is completed?
No.
Okay.
Can I change the last answer, actually? It is provided if they want it.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Permission to approach?
You may.
Now, Ms. Maloney, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 149. There are several documents in individualized heat-sealed portions of this plastic, and I would just ask that you review each one and then let me know when you're finished.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Now, in looking at Exhibit 149 and each of those documents, are you familiar with those or have you seen those before?
Yes, I've seen all of these, and the map of the facility actually has my handwriting on it.
It does, okay. Now, with this particular set of paperwork in front of you, can you see a customer's name anywhere on any of those documents?
Yeah, on actually the move-out receipt, Conrad Lychwick.
Okay. Now, when you were working on December 1st of 2024, did you make face-to-face contact with this customer named Conrad Lychwick?
Not face-to-face, no.
Are you aware of whether Mr. Lychwick came into this U-Haul facility to move out his items and close out his account?
That I am aware of, yes.
How are you aware of that?
I was in the general vicinity when it happened. I wasn't in the same room. And my colleague that I was working with at that day let me know of the situation because he had come in to ask for our assistance with the move out.
And then, did Mr. Lychwick have any balance, or did he have to pay anything once he closed out his storage unit?
No, he did not.
Does it say on that receipt what the storage unit number was?
Yes, room 679.
Okay. Now, do you recall maybe morning or afternoon when Mr. Lychwick had come to the U-Haul facility, or at least do you remember when you first knew that he was there?
Yes, it was in the afternoon, maybe between 3 and 3:30.
Okay. Now, what is standard practice for U-Haul employees once somebody moves their items out of a storage facility if they've closed their account?
Standard practice is we close their account and then we'll go outside or to wherever the unit is. We verify that there's no longer a lock on the unit and verify that there's no items left in there. And then if that is the case, that it's empty, we make it ready to rent for the next customer.
The afternoon of December 1st of 2024, did you receive a call from law enforcement regarding Mr. Lychwick's storage unit?
Yes.
Was that out of the ordinary for you to get a phone call from law enforcement about a customer storage unit?
Yes, very much so.
What, without telling me exactly, sorry, strike that, I'll rephrase that. Did the officer who was on the phone with you ask about a customer named Conrad Lychwick?
Yes, he said Kevin or Conrad, but yes.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. Were you able to answer him in terms of whether you knew of a customer by the name of Kevin or Conrad Lychwick had been on the premises?
Yes, I told him that we did have him as a customer about 15 minutes before because he had just finished moving out and left already.
At that point, Did you go and check to make sure all of the items were removed from that storage unit?
After the phone call, yes.
Okay, about how long was the phone call, do you know?
Maybe 5-10 minutes long, not very long.
Had Mr. Lychwick already left the premises when you got the call from law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you end up speaking in person with any law enforcement officers on December 1st of 2024?
I don't believe we spoke in person on that day. It was the following day that they came in and I spoke to them that day.
Okay. Okay. And when you checked that storage unit, it was completely empty. Is that fair to say?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I do not have any other questions for this witness.
Very well. Mr. Lychwick, do you have any questions for this witness on cross-examination?
Nope.
All right, Ms. Maloney, you may sit down.
Thank you.
Bye, Miss Maloney.
Could you hand that exhibit to me, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Attorney Tom Bosco?
David Plata, Your Honor,
David
be our
Plata.
next witness.
All right, so you can come up to the witness stand. When you get up here, please remain standing and raise your right hand to get sworn in by the clerk.
We will see his face eventually.
Swear that the testimony you're about to give in this
I
matter
saw it
before the
today.
court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. You may have a seat. Get yourself situated nice and close to the microphone, and when you are ready, please start by stating your name, spelling your first and last for the record.
My name is David Plata, D-A-V-I-D. Last name is Plata, P-L-A-T-T-A.
You may go ahead.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, Mr. Plata. Can you please tell the jury what your rank within the Waukesha Police Department is, sir?
I'm a specialist at the Waukesha Police Department.
And how long have you been with the Waukesha Police Department, sir?
I'm in my 23rd year.
And directing your attention to October 30th of 2024, did you respond to 1512 East North Street?
Yes.
And did you respond to assist with the death investigation at that time, sir?
Yes.
And when you arrived at that particular location, were you tasked with specifically assisting with a search of apartment 13?
Yes.
And apartment 13, who resided in apartment 13 at that particular residence?
At the time, it was victim Carlos.
Okay. Is his last name Maldonado?
Yes.
And at the, did you in fact make entry into that particular apartment, sir?
Yes.
And when you made entry into the apartment, can you describe the condition of that particular apartment?
The apartment looked like a normal apartment. Normal life. There didn't appear to be any sort of signs of a struggle. Didn't appear to be anything in disarray. It was a lived-in look in the apartment with nobody in it.
Did it appear to you to be fairly clean?
Yes.
And 2 days later, then, directing your attention to November 1st of 2024, did you respond back to apartment 13 at that particular residence?
Yes.
And were you tasked or were you specifically doing something specifically at apartment 13 on that day, sir?
Yeah, we were doing a more thorough investigation for suspicious circumstances, and it involved photography, a more detailed search of the apartment, and looking for any sort of signs of other evidence.
Did you process that particular apartment using a concept known as Blue Star Latent blood stain reagent?
Yes.
And is reagent spelled R-E-A-G-E-N-T?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury what that is?
Blue Star reagent is basically a different version of luminol. It will cause fluorescence if there's presence of blood. We use that to see if there's any of the stains in the apartment were possibly blood. Throughout the apartment, I tested numerous different locations of stains. The only spot that had a slight reaction was the bathroom sink. However, which was a very minimal reaction, upon examining that, we did not observe any sort of blood or tissue or anything that was in the sink or around it, and the reaction was so minimal, it was determined that it could have been just through natural use of the sink for shaving or other situations.
If Carlos had been killed in that, or excuse me, Mr. Maldonado had been killed in that particular apartment that he lived in, would you expect to have seen more of a reaction when you did the Blue Star latent bloodstained region?
It would depend on how or where he was killed. If he was killed on something that in there that could have been removed and that would have absorbed any blood, then we would not have had any reaction. But if it was not, we would probably expected to find at least some sort of reaction or something. If he was injured, that there would be something like where he tried to clean up from an injury that, you know, there would be the reaction in a tub or a sink or somewhere.
And do you have any specialized training and experience that allows you to appropriately operate this Blue Star latent bloodstained region analysis?
Yes, I've had training from the Milwaukee Crime Lab for the use of this reagent.
And just in terms of your experience, how many times have you utilized this practice in the scope of your employment?
About a total of 6 times so far.
Now, Detective, directing your attention now a little bit forward to December 2nd of 2024. On that particular day, were you called to provide service for the search warrant?
Yes.
And you were called in to provide service of a search warrant regarding Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, is that right?
Correct.
And when you arrived on the scene where Mr. Lychwick's vehicle was, were you tasked to do something specifically?
I assisted with the collection of evidence from the vehicle. My partner did most of the photography of it. Once evidence was collected and secured, I assisted in processing a couple of items that were recovered.
Do you know whether there was a particular boot that belonged to Mr. Lychwick that was recovered from the vehicle?
Yes, there was a heavier outside utility type boot.
Type of boot, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And did you do anything specifically with reference to this boot?
Yes, I observed that there was kind of a reddish stain on the boot, so we collected a couple of swabs of it in case it was possibly blood for further analysis.
And you used the word swab. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What do you mean by swab?
For swabs, we have, they're sterile swabs. They're basically like a large Q-tip. They come in a package of 2. It's sterile from there. We remove it. We swab the item with like a wipe or 2, kind of like we're wiping it down, and then secure it into a sterile packaging for a cardboard box in order to maintain the integrity of any possible like DNA evidence from it.
And did you swab specific areas on this boot?
Yes, the areas of the reddish substance.
And just to remind the jury again, which areas did you observe the red substance on?
It was on the bottom of it and a little bit on the side of the boot.
Based on your training and experience, is that red substance consistent with that of being human blood?
At the time, I did not know if it was suspected blood. I would not be able to say for sure at the time if it was 100% human blood or not. It just was a suspicious reddish substance at the time.
And what happened to the swabs that you actually executed with respect to this item? What happened after you finished with them?
I packaged them and sealed them, and I believe my partner would have taken them down to the crime lab at some point.
And who was your partner at this point, sir?
Specialist Andrew Schmidt.
And did you collect a total of 4 sets of swabs as it relates to this boot?
Yes.
When you were assisting with the search of Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, were you made aware of any firearms that were inside the vehicle?
Yes, there was one firearm located.
And do you know where this firearm was located?
I believe it was located in the trunk.
And when you were on scene, were you asked to also swab this particular firearm?
I did not swab the firearm on scene. We collected the firearms and all the rest of the evidence. Once we got it back into our processing area, then that's where I swabbed the scene as we could maintain it in as sterile of an environment as possible for processing.
So basically the reason why you did not swab that firearm on scene was the environment was not appropriate.
Yes, correct. It was outdoor in our pole barn with numerous other items nearby. We wanted to keep it secured, isolated, so to prevent any sort of cross-contamination. Once we were able to finish that, we brought the items in so I could swab it in a more sterile environment to avoid any sort of contamination.
And when you completed the swabs of both the boot and this firearm, were you wearing gloves?
Yes.
And why were you wearing gloves?
To prevent any sort of contamination from either my DNA getting onto the item or, transferring DNA from other items.
Is that a standard practice in your department?
Correct. We handle items with gloves, and then when we're going to do DNA, we set up the items, set up our area, put on a fresh pair of gloves that has not touched anything other than anything until we are ready to swab the items, at which point we grab the sterile swabs, process the firearm, secure everything, and then repackage it. So the pair of gloves has not touched any items belonging to the suspect, myself, or the PD. They are removed from the box, put on, process the firearm, and then items are secured.
And the firearm that you located in Mr. Lychwick's vehicle, was it a silver Luger P-08?
Yes.
And in terms of the area that you swabbed this firearm, which areas did you swab specifically on this firearm?
I swabbed the grip area of the firearm, I swabbed the slide of the firearm, and then the trigger area of the firearm.
And why did you swab those particular areas of the weapon, sir?
Just from firearm handling, I know those are the primary areas that somebody will manipulate, so I try to collect those 3 swabs to have the highest potential for locating a person's DNA on the firearm.
So the reason why you swabbed those particular areas is because those are the commonly used areas. If an individual's DNA would be on the particular firearm, those would be the areas.
Yes.
Is that an appropriate clarification?
Yes.
Thank you. And do you know ultimately, sir, the swabs that you collected from this Luger firearm, what happened to them after you finished with them?
Again, my partner, Specialist Schmidt, took them down to the crime lab for testing.
And do you know whether the crime lab is able to do a further analysis of these types of swabs when they receive it?
Yes.
Just 1 second, sir. Yeah. That's all the questions I have. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Lychwick, would you like to ask any cross-examination questions of this witness?
I don't think so.
All right.
Nope.
Specialist,
All right.
you may sit down.
That's right. All right, here comes Andy Schmidt.
Okay, fair enough. Your Honor, our next witness would be Specialist Andy Schmidt.
Okay.
We got him and one other witness, which is Jessica Crawford. And we will have a wrapped up day 2.
Specialist, you may come all the way up to the witness stand here. When you get up to the chair, please remain standing and raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk.
He's going to surprise us one of these days. Maybe.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. You may have a seat. Get yourself positioned by the microphone there, and when you are ready, start by stating your name, spelling your first and last for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Andrew Schmidt. Last name is spelled S-C-H-M-I-D-T.
And your first?
Andrew, A-N-D-R-E-W.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Specialist Smith, where are you employed, sir?
City of Waukesha Police Department.
And how long have you been in law enforcement?
I'm in my 21st year.
And as a specialist, are you assigned to a specific area, or can you just tell the jury a little bit more? What does it mean that you're in fact a specialist?
I work in our evidence and forensics unit, which is a promotional position from the patrol position.
And sir, directing your attention to November 8th of 2024, on that particular day, do you recall transporting some items to the crime lab for analysis?
I do.
Okay. And can you just tell the jury a little bit more? So what is the process by which items that are seized are brought to the crime lab for further analysis?
It depends on the type of case that we're investigating. The crime lab has certain limits to what can be submitted, or they have limits on how many items can be submitted depending on the, area of study that you want the crime lab to analyze. For example, DNA initially will usually only take 10 items, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on the approval process that you have to go to.
And so when an item is submitted to a crime lab for further analysis, is what is sent to the lab memorialized in some manner?
Yes, they they have us write up a transmittal, which describes the item, the property number that is associated with the item that we're taking down there, as well as information on the case as well.
Okay. And sir, are you familiar with these transmittal forms? Meaning, if I was to show you that here today in court, would you recognize it, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Clerk, at this point, I would ask that we show the witness what has been previously marked as State's Exhibit 109. Sir, are you able to see the exhibit or no?
You
No.
have to slide it over.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Now are you able to see it, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, is this the normal routine form that would contain what you submitted to the crime lab, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And that fairly and accurately depicts the form that you would normally submit to the crime lab?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you submitted on this particular day, is that right, sir?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I now move the exhibit into evidence and ask that it be received.
Mr. Lychwick, any objection to Exhibit 109 being received? It will be received.
Okay. Now, sir, in terms of this particular item, did you transmit to the crime lab several different items that are identified as white rope?
I did.
Okay. Do you know the significance of that white rope in terms of the investigation?
I am aware of it, yes.
Okay. What is the significance, sir?
White rope or rope-like substances had been located around the victim. And we had also, and that white rope in particular on this transmittal was obtained during the autopsy process.
Okay. And sir, on this particular date as well, did you submit a cardboard box that contained copper-colored metal projectiles?
I did.
And what is the, in fact, did you submit 2 cardboard boxes containing projectiles?
Yes.
And what is the significance of these projectiles, sir?
Those projectiles were located within the tarp where the victim had been located.
Okay. And so these 2 projectiles had come from the victim in this case?
Yes, that's what it was believed.
Just one moment, sir. You were saying? Yeah. And to clarify the location of each projectile, one came from the victim's head, is that right?
I wasn't at the autopsy, I just had picked them up, but according to the transmittal, yes.
Okay. And then the second one came from the victim's torso?
Yes.
Okay. Specialist Smith, directing your attention now to December 2nd of 2024. Were you involved in the search of the defendant, Mr. Lychwick's vehicle on that particular day?
Yes, I was.
And in his particular vehicle was a Kia, is that right?
That's correct.
Would it be fair to say that the Kia was a gray-colored vehicle in nature?
Yes.
And in terms of the search of the vehicle, where specifically did this vehicle search take place?
The vehicle search took place in the Waukesha Police Department's pole barn.
Okay. And was the vehicle actually transported there from the site of a traffic stop?
It was, yes.
And why was the vehicle transported to that particular location that you just testified to so the search could commence?
Because we wanted to search the vehicle, and we knew that there were several items in that vehicle, so the pole barn was chosen because there was more room to operate and to conduct a better and methodical search.
And you used the word methodical in terms of the vehicle search. What do you mean by that? Can you clarify that just a little bit more?
Knowing how this investigation was going, we wanted to make sure that we searched the vehicle thoroughly and also documented the items that we removed from the vehicle appropriately. I've been a part of searches in the past where vehicles kind of get ransacked, and people don't understand where items came from. That's not what we wanted to do with this investigation. We wanted to make sure that everything was thoroughly documented and where it came from.
Okay. And in terms of the, is it fair to say that the search of the vehicle was not only methodical, but it was deliberate as well?
It was.
Okay. And were certain measures or steps taken in order to preserve the integrity of the vehicle search when it was conducted?
Yes.
Can you please tell the jury what were those steps, sir?
Each compartment of the vehicle was searched individually, and as items were removed from that vehicle, we had placed clean white tarps down on the ground, so that way we wouldn't get anything dirty or contaminated. Each of those white tarps was labeled with the compartment of the car that it came from. We didn't move on to another compartment of the vehicle until we were done and satisfied that we had thoroughly searched that compartment of the car and we had satisfied what we were looking for.
So essentially you put out separate labels to denote each specific area of the vehicle so you knew what item came from what location of the vehicle.
That's correct.
And that was for better record keeping labor, so there was never any doubt about which item came from what location.
That's correct.
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you know whether Mr. Lychwick's vehicle trunk was searched?
It was.
Okay. And as a result of that search, do you know whether any particular firearms were located, sir?
A firearm was located in the trunk, yes.
And what type of firearm was that, if you recall, sir?
It was a semi-automatic pistol that was of the Luger style from a World War II era.
And sir, if I showed you a copy of that firearm here today in court, do you think you would recognize it from the search?
I would.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the clerk to obtain some scissors and gloves?
You may.
Okay. Okay. I got the gloves here. Do you have a pair of scissors, Madam Clerk? Thank you.
I hope he does like everybody else and hold it right up to the microphone while he cuts it.
Yeah, this has been previously marked as State's Exhibit number
Yay.
157. I would ask the court's permission now to approach the witness so I can show him this specific exhibit.
Mr. Lychwick, would you like to examine 157 first?
No?
All right, Mr. Lychwick
All right.
looked at the court and did not acknowledge the court, so Attorney Tombasco, you may approach with it.
Thank you very much. And Your Honor, just so the record is clear, I've also supplied this witness with a pair of scissors from your clerk as well as a set of black gloves as well. Detective, do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, this is the gun box that the firearm that we had seized from Mr. Lychwick's vehicle was collected in.
And you are aware which type of firearm is located within that particular glove box?
I am.
And there is something taped to the package of that exhibit, is that right, sir?
That is correct.
What is that?
The bullets that were included with the magazine originally, and the 2 test-fired projectiles that came from the crime lab that were also packaged originally inside the box.
And can you give us a little bit more? What exactly is a gun box, sir?
A gun box is a standard cardboard box that we typically package firearms in.
And is that box completely sealed, sir?
It is.
Okay. And that is indeed the firearm, as you recall it, when it was seized from Mr. Lychwick's vehicle?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm over the exhibit and evidence and ask that it be received.
Any objection to the exhibit 157, Mr. Lychwick? Mr. Lychwick is not responding. That will be received.
Detective, I'm going to ask you with the court's permission in a few moments to actually break the seal on that particular gun, but is it completely sealed at this point, sir?
It is.
And why is that?
So that way we don't have
You'll
any
regret it.
cross-contamination issues later
You'll
on.
regret it.
And is that firearm labeled in some manner?
Yes, there is a bar-coded label on the front of it, as well as labels from the crime lab from where they processed and analyzed it.
And before I actually ask you to break the seal, is that firearm been rendered safe, sir?
It has.
Okay. There's no ammunition in the weapon at this point?
No.
Okay. But are there some bullets that are on the exterior of that gun case as well?
There are.
Okay. And is that how you found that, or can you provide the jury with a little bit more information concerning that?
I had, knowing that this firearm was going to be brought in for an exhibit, I had removed the packaging that was included inside the box. Prior history with courts, sometimes the judges don't want ammunition inside the box, so I wanted to remove it ahead of time if it was not going to be allowed.
And Your Honor, at this point, I know it's a very sensitive exhibit, but I would ask that the witness be allowed to break the seal and then published by walking back and forth to show the jury the firearm.
Any objection to that proposal, Mr. Lychwick? Hearing none, I will grant that request.
And before we...
Remember, just the times have changed. Remember in the Betty Broderick trial when they passed the firearm used in that crime around to the jurors and had them pull the trigger? Now, and I think even the prosecutor took it at one point and pointed it around. I don't think she pointed it at anybody, but she was pointing it around the mannequins on the bed with the dowel rods through them. Not anything we'd see today. Oh my gosh. The times have changed. That's because it was 1991 and it was awesome. Yes, she is blinking Morse code. And she also just peeks at us.
We do that. Actually, I thought of one other thing as well. Is there a magazine, sir, that's still contained in that box as well?
There is.
Okay. Is that the magazine that came from that particular firearm?
It is.
Okay. I would ask now that the witness be allowed to break the seal.
All right, you may proceed.
And sir, if you didn't mind just doing a couple of passes back and forth so the jury can actually see what it is that you're actually holding in your hands, sir. The record will reflect that the witness has displayed the contents of the box. The firearm is still zip tied to the box, so it was displayed in that fashion back and forth to the jury. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Specialist Schmidt, when that firearm was discovered, was there anything in particular that you located of evidentiary value on the barrel?
There were some blue rags that appeared to be like shop rags that were attached to the firearm with several rubber bands.
Okay. And when the search was completed, was that disrupted in any way, or was that just the way that you found it?
That was just the way we had found it. So
you didn't add either the towel or the rubber bands when you transported it back to your evidence room for safekeeping?
No.
Now, Specialist Schmidt, when you were engaged in the search of this particular vehicle, did you locate any ammunition that correspond to that particular firearm?
Yes.
Okay. And if I showed you that here today in court, would you recognize it from that particular search?
Yes.
Okay. Detective, Specialist Smith, did you transport any of the projectiles that came from the victim in this case?
To the crime lab?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. And so would you recognize them here today in court if I showed them to you?
Yes.
And Your Honor, once again, I have two physical exhibits here. They're marked as 155 and 156. I'm happy to show them as well to Mr. Lychwick. I would ask that I be allowed to approach the witness after doing so and show these to him.
Mr. Lychwick, would you like to see exhibits 155 and 156? Mr. Lychwick is not responding. Attorney Tombasco, you may approach the witness.
Thank you. Sir, showing me what's been marked as State's Exhibit 155 and 156, can you please just tell us what are those two exhibits, sir?
The two exhibits are cardboard boxes with our Waukesha police evidence inventory labels on them. And then heat sealed above them are two metal projectiles.
And do you know whether those two projectiles were the ones that came from the victim in this case?
Yes, those are the ones.
And again, you did transport those to the lab for further analysis, is that right?
I did.
Okay. Your Honor, I now move the two exhibits into evidence and ask that it be received.
Any objection, Mr. Lychwick, to 155 and 156? Hearing no objection, they are received.
Thank you. Specialist Nelson, I asked you a few moments ago about some of the towels that were found on the Luger firearm. Do you recall that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Why were those not disturbed when you located this firearm in the defendant's trunk?
Given the circumstances of this investigation, it was decided to not disturb them or to try to remove them. Our expertise in firearms is pretty substantial. However, the crime lab has better quality control and they're able to better process those items more than what we're capable of.
And sir, was there a point in time in this investigation where you made another run and brought additional items to the crime lab?
I transported items 2 separate times to the crime lab, yes.
Okay. And do you know whether one of those times involved buccal swabs that came from Mr. Lychwick himself?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, can I just have this next exhibit displayed for the witness as well? Sir, are you able to see this on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. And this has been marked as State's Exhibit number 108. Is that right, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know approximately when you transmitted? Well, actually, let me back up and ask it this way. This is another form for transmittal of evidence to the crime lab. Is that right, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. So this is another example of something that you brought to the state crime lab for further analysis. Is that right?
It is correct.
Okay. And when we scroll down on this particular form, does it indicate what specifically you brought to the crime lab?
It does.
And what did you bring to the crime lab, sir?
4 DNA swabs from the defendant, obtained from his left and right cheek.
And do you know when these were brought to the crime lab, sir?
Shortly after December 6th.
Yeah, I now move the exhibit in evidence and ask that it be received.
Any objection to this exhibit, Mr. Lychwick? There is no objection from the defendant. Attorney Tombasco, this was 108.
It is, let me scroll up really quick. It is 108, Your Honor, that is right.
That will be received.
Okay. Sir, when a buccal swab is typically brought to the lab, is it very common for such a sample to be later tested by the crime lab?
If it's requested to, yes.
Sir, you mentioned just a few moments ago that you had made a third trip with items that were recovered to the crime lab. Do you recall that, sir?
Yes.
Do you recall when you made that trip, sir?
I made a trip December 5th, I believe.
Okay. And, sir, When you made that trip or prior before you made that trip, would you have also filled out a transmittal form for that particular trip as well?
Yes, each trip to the crime lab requires its separate transmittal.
Okay. And sir, are you able to see a form that it's been marked now as States Exhibit 110 on your screen?
The exhibit number isn't there, but I do see the form. Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, for the record, I would ask that this exhibit be referenced as States Exhibit 110. There is no number on it, but that's what I would be requesting.
I'm sorry. There was a top and I missed.
Sure. I would be asking that this be marked as States Exhibit number 110.
Sure, it will be. Just make sure that when it gets into the record, it has that appropriate sticker on it.
Sure. Absolutely, Your Honor. And so you are able to see this exhibit as well, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on this particular exhibit, does it indicate whether some particular swabs were sent to the crime lab?
Yes.
And specifically, does it indicate several swabs for DNA from several boots?
Yes.
Do you know whose boots these are that were swabbed?
These were boots that were located in the defendant's vehicle.
So these were Mr. Lychwick's boots?
Yes.
And in addition to that, does it also indicate whether a swab of a particular firearm was administered or submitted as well?
Yes.
And that was a Luger pistol?
Yes.
And that was the same Luger pistol that you found in the defendant's vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah, I now move the exhibit into evidence and ask that it be received.
Any objection to the receipt of Exhibit 110, Mr. Lychwick? Hearing none, it will be received.
Specialist, do you know whether the boots that were swabbed were seized by the police in this case?
They were. We wouldn't swab them without seizing them.
Okay. And if I showed you those here today in court, would you be able to recognize whether those were the boots that were actually seized?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, for the record, these have been marked as States Exhibit 150 for the right and States Exhibit number 150A for the left boot. Once again, I'm happy to show them to Mr. Lychwick if he would like. I'd be asking to approach the witness.
Attorney Tombosco, you said 150 and 150A?
Correct. 150 is for the right boot and 150A is for the left boot.
Mr. Lychwick, would you like to examine those before they are presented to the witness? Mr. Lychwick doesn't respond. Despite making eye contact with the court, you may proceed.
Thank you. Sir, just to kind of set the stage a little bit, those two exhibits that I handed you, they are sealed, is that right?
They are.
And is that the common procedure for evidence that is seized, that it is sealed in that manner?
Yes.
And is that, again, to prevent any contamination?
Yes.
And so those two particular items have not been tampered with or altered with in any way? They are just as you received them when they were recovered from the defendant's vehicle?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move the exhibit into evidence and ask that it be received.
Any objection to the admission of 150 and 150A? Hearing none, it is received, or they are received.
Thank you. And I would be asking at this point for the court to allow this witness to break the seal on these items and again show them to the jury.
Any objection to that process, Mr. Lychwick? Hearing none, you may proceed.
Is there any particular order you want me to open them?
No.
You got the first one open?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, sir, I would, with the court's permission, of course, I would ask that you just do a couple of passes so the jury can actually see.
Why don't we have both boots opened
Okay.
and then they can be published at the same time?
Perfect.
For sure.
You want me to hold them up together? Or?
Yes, please.
This is 150, and this is left and right.
And Your Honor, I would just ask, is the witness able to stand and actually show them that way? It might be easier for the jury to see if we do it that way.
That's fine.
I was not expecting those. I was expecting work boots.
I think I just said that we'd like you to just stand at the witness stand. If you could just hold them up, and I'll ask that the record reflect the witness is holding up both the boots that have been received as an exhibit for the jury's view.
It will reflect.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
This is so much paper.
Mr. Lychwick, would you like to ask this witness any questions on cross-examination?
My money's on no.
Mr. Lychwick does not acknowledge the court. Therefore, specialist, you may step down. Thank you.
Okay. He should ask to try on the boots. They don't fit.
Do you want these items?
You can, tell you what, why don't you hand me the items except for the box?
Okay.
I'm going to have my deputy, or one of the deputies, take possession of the box for right now.
Judge, we're actually going to need that for the next witness. Is it okay? Can we just leave it in close proximity so I can have my next witness reference it? Thank you.
Do you have another witness you want to call this afternoon?
We do.
Yes.
We have Jessica Crawford. Your
Last
Honor.
witness
Okay.
for today.
Okay, the court may call its next witness. Or, excuse me, the state may call its next
Yeah,
witness.
we call Jessica
The
Crawford. Your Honor.
court. That's right. Call the box fort witness. I know, it's so loud. And he was like right by the mic. Gabby, he had a desk made out of boxes.
Ms. Crawford, you can come all the way up to the witness stand here. When you get up here, please remain standing and raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may have a seat. When you get yourself positioned by the microphone right there, start by stating your name, spelling your first and last for the record.
My name is Jessica Crawford, Jessica Crawford.
You may proceed.
Thank you. And good afternoon, Ms. Crawford. Can you please tell the jury how you're employed?
I am a firearms and toolmark examiner with the Wisconsin State Crime Lab, Milwaukee Laboratory.
And specifically, are you employed within the Division of Forensic Science?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's Forensic Sciences, right, plural?
Correct.
Okay. And your official title is Firearms and Tool Marks Examiner, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And how long have you held your current position, ma'am?
Approximately 10 years.
And do you have any specific education that qualifies you to hold your current position?
I have a Bachelor's of Science from Fort Hays State University.
And have you completed any specialized training or experience that qualifies you to hold your current position, ma'am?
Yes, I have completed the Firearm and Toolmark Examiner training program that is provided by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab.
And as a part of your career, do you participate in any continuing education and or training requirements?
I do.
And does this allow you to remain current on topics in your field?
It does, yes.
Yep. Can you give the jury just a sample? What sort of continuing education or training do you participate in?
So we receive what we call proficiency tests. We receive a few of those each year that test us on the different disciplines in which we work. These are provided to us by a third-party organization and given to us in the form of a black box study. So essentially, we don't know the results. We do the work as casework, and then we return the results to the organization, and they provide us with results after the fact to ensure that we are staying competent on the work that we provide.
And throughout your career, have you ever been asked to present at conferences regarding topics in your field?
Yes.
And can you give the jury a sample? What topics have you presented on?
I present on evidence handling. I have presented on firearm and tool mark examination, and I have presented on Daubert hearings, which is a motion throughout the courts.
And have you testified in court before, ma'am?
I have, yes.
How many times have you testified?
About 120 times.
And Ms. Crawford, are you familiar with a concept that's known as firearms identification?
Yes.
Can you please just tell the jury, what is firearms identification?
With firearms identification, we are looking at firearms and firearm-related evidence like fired cartridge cases and fired bullets or projectiles. And we are comparing the fired bullets and projectiles to the firearm or to each other.
And as part of the 120 times that you've testified in court, have you ever testified regarding firearms identification?
Exclusively.
Okay, so the 120 times you've testified have all been related to firearms identification?
Yes.
Okay. And the specific training and experience and education that you've just defined, is all of that in relation to that particular topic, firearms identification?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And ma'am, are you familiar with a document that's known as a statement of qualifications?
I am.
Okay. And can you tell the jury, what is that?
A statement of qualifications is essentially a working resume. So it will have information regarding the work that I have done, the trainings I have done, the testimonies I have done within my time frame at the Wisconsin State Crime Lab.
Okay. And ma'am, well, Madam Clerk, if we could just project this on the witness's screen. Ms. Crawford, I'm just going to show you this document. It's been previously marked as State's Exhibit number 113, and I'm going to ask if you recognize it.
Yes.
Okay. Is this your statement of qualifications, ma'am?
This looks like the first page of it, yes.
Okay. I'm going to scroll through and just let me know if it all looks correct.
Yes.
Okay. And this is your statement of qualifications, is that right?
It is, yes.
Okay. And as part of your career, is it an expectation that you maintain this type of document?
Yes.
And that is so you can testify in court regarding what you do on a daily basis?
Correct.
Yep. Your Honor, I now move the exhibit into evidence and ask that it be received.
Mr. Lychwick, any objection to Exhibit 113? The defendant does not respond. The exhibit will be received.
And Your Honor, at this point, I would ask that the court receive Ms. Crawford as an expert witness pursuant to WSCStat 907.02 subsection 1, specifically in the field of firearms identification.
That is for the jury to determine.
Okay. Ms. Crawford, in relation to your work at the Wisconsin State Laboratory, do you receive firearms for identification and testing?
I do.
And when a firearm comes to you for testing, what is the procedure that you follow?
So when I receive a firearm, I will first examine that firearm to ensure that it hasn't been manipulated or damaged. Then we create a worksheet where we indicate all of the different manufacturing, make information on the worksheet. Once I've gone through the entire firearm ensured that it is safe to fire, we perform 2 test fires of every firearm where I actively go into a shooting range and fire and collect the ammunition fired from the firearm.
And where do you get your hands on the ammunition that you use for test firing, the weapons that you receive?
We have a reference library of ammunition that we use to do all test firing with.
And the procedure that you just explained to the jury, is that followed each and every time, ma'am?
It is.
And why is it important that you follow that procedure each and every time?
For the quality control aspect of the work that we do to ensure that things are being done accurately and complete.
And after you finish test firing the weapon that is sent to you, do you complete or memorialize your findings in some sort of document?
Yes.
And what is that document?
Well, we do have notes, and then we also will write a report, and that report will have our findings.
And is this report known as a firearms identification report?
I believe it's a Wisconsin State Crime Lab report, but it is my report that indicates the firearms work.
I see. And is that something that that you do each and every time you finish, is fill out that report?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, ma'am, as it relates to this particular case, do you know whether your lab received a firearm for testing that you analyzed here?
Do you have a laboratory number you could provide me?
I'll tell you what, maybe I can do even one better, ma'am. Do you know whether you completed a report in reference to a firearm in this case?
Yes, I do believe I did.
Okay. And if I was to show you a copy of that report here today in court, would that assist you in your testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, are you able to see what's now been projected on your screen?
I can, yes.
Okay. And this is marked as State's Exhibit number 114, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, ma'am, just scrolling up, is that your name that's located at the top of this report?
That is my name, yes.
Okay. And so what is the, when you analyze a weapon, is that the routine practice that you affix your name and your signature to this report?
That's correct.
Okay. And so does this assist you in terms of evaluating which firearm you analyzed in this particular case?
That's correct.
Okay. And again, this is your regular practice is to complete reports such as this in the scope of your employment?
It is.
Your Honor, yes, the record reflect that we received the exhibit in for evidence.
Any objection to Exhibit 114, Mr. Lychwick? Hearing no objection, the court will receive Exhibit 114.
And Your Honor, I would ask that we publish to the jury.
Any objection to the publication, Mr. Lychwick? All right, it will be published.
So, ma'am, I'd like to start with the first section of this report. Do you see that there's an indication that says item AD1?
Yes.
Okay. And item AD1, is this the firearm that you received in your laboratory for testing?
Yes.
Okay. And what type of weapon is this?
This is a Germany Mauser, a model Luger 42 or 1939, 9mm caliber semi-automatic pistol.
Okay. And then there's also something on this one that says with six landing grooves, right and twist, rifle barrel. Do you see that?
Yes.
What does that mean?
The 6 lands and grooves and right-hand twist rifle barrel would indicate the characteristics of the interior of the barrel of this firearm.
And when you receive a weapon at your particular lab, are there some sort of stickers that are noted on it when it receives?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I believe that there's the firearm should be close by. If I could just use that with the witness, please.
Sure. The witness can use the gun box right there, which is identified as Exhibit 157.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Crawford, do you have Exhibit number 157 in front of you?
I do.
Okay. And is that, are there stickers on that came from your lab?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Crawford, the previous witness has testified that the firearm has been rendered safe, too. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. So now moving down, there's a section that says item AD2. Can you just explain that for the jury?
AD2 is a magazine that has 7 unfired 9mm caliber cartridges with it.
And is this an item that you would have received in your laboratory for testing?
Correct.
Okay, so you received, at the time that this Luger firearm was sent to you, also included with the submission was a magazine and then some unfired 9mm cartridges, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then continuing to move down, there's an item I and an item J. Do you see that as well?
Yes, I do.
Can you please explain what is item I and what is item J?
Item I is one fired 9mm caliber full metal jacket bullet with 6 lands and grooves and a right hand twist. Item J is also one fired 9mm caliber full metal jacket bullet with 6 lands and grooves and a right hand twist impression.
So these items I and item J, these are also items that were submitted to you for testing as well?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I believe these items have also been previously received. If we could just show those to the witness as well.
And they should be right there for the witness as well. Those were part of 157, correct?
Yes.
They're on the box.
Item J here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item I and J, Attorney Thompson, did you pull out exhibits 155 and 156?
I did, yes, they were up there. Those are the projectiles recovered from the victim's head and torso during the autopsy.
Sure. So just so the record's clear, then, with reference to item I and item J, those refer to exhibits 155 and 156.
Thank you very much. So you have those in front of you, ma'am, as well?
I do.
Okay. Okay. Ma'am, with respect to all three of those items, are there yellow stickers indicated on each item?
There are, yes.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit more?
So the yellow barcode sticker is something that's applied to each piece of evidence as it's received from law enforcement to the crime lab. It provides a laboratory case number and a laboratory item designation, and the barcode allows us to track and follow the chain of custody throughout the laboratory as the item is worked.
Okay. And again, moving down the report, if I could, please, you had testified earlier that you test fired this particular weapon, this Luger firearm that you received. Is that right?
That is correct.
And when you test fired this particular weapon, did you find there to be any malfunctions regarding it?
I did not.
Okay. So the weapon was capable of recycling a bullet through it. Is that right?
Yes, it did
Okay.
function.
Okay. I'm just going to take the exhibit down for 1 second here, ma'am. Actually, Madam Clerk, can we bring the exhibit back up to the witness at this point?
Just for the witness?
Yes, please. Ma'am, is there a section of your, well, first and foremost, do you have this document in front of you as well, ma'am?
I do.
Okay. Do you see a section in this report that's called microscopic comparison conclusion?
Yes, I do see. I just see the title at this time.
Okay. Can you explain what that is?
So microscopic comparison is going to be a comparison of the class and individual characteristics of a fired piece of evidence. So say we would take these test fired cartridge cases and bullets, we would then do a microscopic comparison to fired evidence like cartridge cases or bullets that were received to compare the markings that are left over on those bullets and cartridge cases from the firing process that are imparted from the firearm onto those pieces of evidence. We use what's called a comparison microscope, and we compare them by using 2 stages or 2 microscopes that are connected by one optical bridge. And I look at both objects simultaneously, comparing the microscopic striations and impressions to each other in order to come to a conclusion.
And ma'am, just to kind of flush that out just a little bit more, actually, before I do that, Your Honor, we've now switched computers. Can we just now, once again, place this back on the screen for the jury? I just didn't want the jury to see my questions.
Oh, for the jury?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, please. Yep.
So Exhibit 114 will again be displayed to the jury.
Can we zoom in a little bit more on that? So, ma'am, you were just testifying about this, the section microscopic comparison conclusions. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And when you're performing a comparison on what is listed as item I and item J, is that right in there?
That is correct.
Okay. So what you're doing then is you're performing a comparison between what you received, which is item I and item J, with the bullets or the projectiles that you have in your laboratory. Is that right?
Correct. The ones that I fired through the firearm compared.
Okay. And when a firearm is recycled through a particular weapon, in this case, 1939 Luger, does the cartridge have any specific markings or something that would indicate it came from that particular weapon?
That is my experience.
Yep. Can you explain that a little bit more to the jury?
So during the manufacturing process, when a firearm is being made, it's being made with tools. As those tools are forging those different parts, those tools are changing in themselves. So I like to think of it like a piece of chalk. So say you have a fresh piece of chalk and you take it and you score it on the ground. When you look at that end, you're going to see some striations, you're going to see some impressions from the ground that you just rubbed it against. Now, if you were to take it and do it again, you may still see some of those striations and impressions from that first time, but there may be some subtle or different changes that are happening during each time that you're marking that piece of chalk. So the tools that are used in the manufacturing process are similar in the sense that as they wear through each item that they're making, they also have slight changes. So that's where we have that difference between class characteristics and individual characteristics. A class characteristic will be something that's done, decided in manufacturing. So something like the caliber or that amount of lands and grooves, that would be something that was decided and is a class characteristic. I would expect that many Lugers would have a 6 right-hand twist barrel. Those microscopic striations and impressions that are happening during that manufacturing process where those tools are then wearing through each piece that it's making, those are going to be those individual characteristics, those microscopic striations and impressions that we're using in order to identify a particular gun back to the pieces of evidence that we receive.
I see. Thank you for that explanation. And so so again, referring you back to the item that's listed as AD1, the weapon that you received, and then the 2 items that you spent regarding item I and item J, do you have an opinion regarding whether items I and item J came from item AD1 based on your testing?
I do.
Yes. Can you please state that opinion, ma'am?
It is my opinion that items I and J, the 2 fired 9mm caliber bullets, were fired through the barrel of item AD1, which is the Germany Mauser Luger.
1 second, ma'am. Ma'am, when you look at all of these items, do they all have the appropriate crime lab designation?
The barcode sticker?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Okay. And in terms of the item I and item J that you just testified to, is that opinion made to a reasonable degree of professional certainty?
It is, yes.
And what specifically would you point to informing that opinion?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
Sure. What specifically, you've just testified that it's your conclusion that item I and item J were recycled through item AD1. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what do you rely on specifically in forming that opinion?
So that opinion is based off of my training and experience as a firearms and toolmark examiner.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you would point to on those particular items, any striations or something that would be in support of that?
So during my examination, I do find areas of identification that assist me in being able to make the identification to the barrel. And that is just going to be areas of those striations within the lands and grooves that I was able to make identifications to.
Do items I and items J bear specific marks on them that are similar to the ammunition that you test fired that are similar in nature?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Are you sure?
By comparing items I and J to the test fired bullets that I fired through item AD1, I was able to find areas of identification that, in my opinion, I was able to then make an identification that these two items were fired through the barrel of item AD1.
And when you make that conclusion, ma'am, is there some sort of peer review process that takes place in order to ensure the accuracy of your findings?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what that process is?
Firearms goes through a two-step process. There is a peer review or technical review portion, and that is when a second qualified examiner takes the paperwork and ensures that it's accurate and complete. There is also a process where that second qualified examiner takes the physical evidence itself, performs an examination, and confirms that the evidence supports the conclusions made in my report.
And Your Honor, at this point, may I approach the witness just to retrieve evidence?
You may.
I was able to then make an identification that these two items were fired through the barrel of item AD1.
And when you make that conclusion, ma'am, is there some sort of peer review process that takes place in order to ensure the accuracy of your findings?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what that process is?
Firearms goes through a two-step process. There is a peer review or technical review portion, and that is when a second qualified examiner takes the paperwork and ensures that it's accurate and complete. There is also a process where that second qualified examiner takes the physical evidence itself, performs an examination, and confirms that the evidence supports the conclusions made in my report.
And Your Honor, at this point, may I approach the witness just to retrieve evidence?
You may.
I don't know what happened. It's trying to make me a liar on time. That's what it's trying to do. It went back in time.
So, ma'am, just to be clear, I'm holding in my hand States Exhibit 155 and States Exhibit 156. These are items I and J, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So it is your conclusion to a reasonable degree of professional certainty that these two projectiles
Will be done.
Came from what I'm now holding as States Exhibit number 157. Is that right?
That is correct.
And that is item AD1, as noted on your lab report. Is that right?
That is correct.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, any cross-examination for this witness? The defendant does not respond. Ms. Crawford, you may step down.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at 4:46. We've had another full, productive day. I appreciate your attention and patience throughout the day. We are going to break for this evening. I want to remind you that you have not heard all of the evidence in this case. You have not heard any of the instructions that I am going to give you, so it is not ready for your deliberations yet. As you go home tonight, take a break, get some rest. Don't talk about the case to anyone, including loved ones. Don't talk about it to your fellow jurors as you're leaving the courtroom. You are not able to deliberate until I allow you to, and when the evidence is finished and the arguments are finished. So we will break until tomorrow morning. We're going to resume again at 8:30 tomorrow morning. But again, I think we're doing very well on time. So you can feel comfortable that we will be able to finish in a timely fashion here. All right, we will see you tomorrow at 8:30.
All right.
That is very true. He just has to make his record and then we'll wrap it up.
You may be seated. We are now outside the presence of the jury. The court will make the following record regarding the defendant during this period of testimony. I'll also note that the defendant has not been standing for the jury as instructed by the bailiffs, even though I'm not under any impression that the defendant is unable to stand. He is only restrained by the ankle, and he would otherwise be able to stand. At 3:21 this afternoon, during Detective Schulten's testimony, the defendant appeared to be slumped over a little bit in his chair. That was the first time that I was under the impression that Mr. Lychwick could potentially be asleep in his chair. I had one of the bailiffs walk behind him and nudge him on his shoulder, and he had, again, that sort of startled awakening where he looked up at the deputy. Other than that, the defendant has remained stationary. He is huddled under his coat. The coat is pulled up around his shoulders and up to his chin. He has maintained some eye contact with court. I've noted it a couple of times where I've looked over at the defendant and he's been looking at the court, and then as soon as we make eye contact, he quickly shuts his eyes. There are other times, like now, where his eyes are open and he's blankly staring or staring at the court. So again, the court is convinced that the defendant remains awake and attentive during this. He is simply refusing to participate, but he is not obstructive and not obstructing any of the testimony or the court proceedings. So if he wants to sleep or meditate or not participate, that is his choice to make. All right, Attorney Thompson, how are we doing on time and scheduling?
I think we're doing great. The witness who had a conflict in Milwaukee County this afternoon will be the first one I call tomorrow morning at 8:30, and I expect her to be available. And then after that, the state has 3 additional witnesses, all of whom are somewhat lengthy, but we are definitely on track. If we don't end up resting tomorrow, then certainly finishing up Thursday morning with testimony.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you want to address at this time, Attorney Thompson?
No, thank you.
Mr. Lychwick, is there anything you want to address at this time? Okay. I'll note, too, that where the record reflects that the court has asked Mr. Lychwick certain questions, either in regards to anything he wants to add or in regards to the exhibits being offered or anything like that, for the most part, I've tried to wait a few seconds for a response and then make a note that the defendant has not responded. Other times I know I've asked the defendant the question and then simply moved on and allowed the exhibit to be entered. So just for the record, in case there's any question later on, I've always allowed Mr. Lychwick several seconds to respond to me, and the times that I've moved on have been because Mr. Lychwick has not offered me any response. I do want to go through just real quick where we're at on the exhibits.
We're not doing that because it's long. It's just a bunch of numbers of all this stuff, and he doesn't say anything. There's nothing. He should have taken a note out of that's this one over here, Hera, from her notebook, because she's been back here snoring. So I know she's asleep. Unlike somebody else. Oh, she's getting up now. No, she's not. She's just kidding. All right, so tomorrow we will start day 3. We will actually only see one witness tomorrow, and I believe that's the medical examiner. Her testimony is a little lengthy. We're going to do that for a couple of witnesses because their testimony is long, and I've been trying to get things shifted so that we don't have like horribly long days, but that we can also get this done. So, no dogs allowed. Yeah, you tell her that, Flash Fan. So, with that being said, Yeah, they are. They are. I was going through that today. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, the last witness is for the state is very long. That's why I know she doesn't rest tomorrow on day 3. So we'll start tomorrow. We'll get started with Dr. Amy Scheel, I think is her name. I really messed up one of the detectives' names. I don't know where I got it. I thought that his last name was Schloth. And it was like Sculty or something. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, she does have little sweet eyes. Especially when she wants something. But, alright, we did it. I didn't know if we could. I knew it was going to be a long one. We did it. And that there wasn't too much barking. I think they maybe have just left. They were working and working and working. Those guys put in like a 12-hour day today. And they're going to be back tomorrow. So, yay. Anywho, alright, I'm getting you out of here before 9. Grandma's house is tonight. Flashman, I'm getting you to your thing. We're doing it. We are all set. There will be no midnight stream. Not from me. Because I
was sleeping.
That's what I'll be doing. And if I'm not, I might be kind of angry. You know what I was thinking? Bad Dazzer, remind me tomorrow. I thought about you right before they gave me the stuff to knock me out last Wednesday. Remind me. I'll tell you tomorrow. But other than that, thanks for joining, everyone. I will see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. It was not that. 6 p.m. It wasn't that. Bad Dazzler will love it. He'll want one. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll get this thing going and rolling again. So have a great rest of your night. I did not do that either. Not that that would be a bad thing. But have a great rest of your night. Sorry. Adair, don't be a stranger, Adair. Don't be a stranger. It is so good to see you. I know, I can't compete with pickleball, but I'll try. I will try. All right. Later.
Hot mannequin love is kinda uncanny. Click, like, subscribe, ooh, piece of candy. Looking for my spotlight, chasing my vibe. Still looking for my credibility online. Ooh, hot mannequin love, candy on the floor, don't pick it up. Chasing all the clicks, chasing all the views. Credibility's hiding, but I'm bringing you the news. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go. Ooh.